At ease. It's your boy Soul Immortal. What's going on, brothers? What's going on, Brother Henry? Brother Tony Montana. What's going on, brothers? So I'm sure y'all might have watched the video from earlier where I was talking about the difference between people interpreting, you know, creating or simply tapping in, and I don't want to go through that whole spiel again, but I just come to the conclusion that a lot of people's mind automatically set up this barrier when you're talking about creating, you know, set up this barrier when you're talking about, bringing something from out there and bringing it to fruition, right? A lot of people's brain just doesn't interpret that as easy, right? So that's really what we want to talk about. And I kind of brushed over that earlier. I went in just a little bit on Wallace Waddles in the book, The Science of Getting Rich, right? And how he was talking about this thinking stuff, right? And then I fast forwarded to Brother Tesla, how Brother Tesla, actually tapped in to that thinking stuff. It then went from not being, some unseen source around us. It went to being something that was tangible, something that we could actually use, something that we could literally put radio waves, radio frequencies in television shows and FaceTime. Like he literally tapped into this quote unquote thinking stuff. And just going back to what I was saying, I think a lot of people just grasp that concept a lot easier, right? But first, man, let's do this, man. Let's do this. Let's talk about this. At first, we have to come to the conclusion, right? We all have to agree that we've gone to enough church services, right? We've gone to enough Jumu'ah. We've gone to mass and all the other religions, right? Like all of us have participated in some form, shape, or fashion of religious services. And I'm not knocking it. I'm not going there with it. But all of us have tapped into those sources long enough that by now we should fully know how to navigate through this world, right? We still have grandmama and them. We still have, Uncle Buck and Aunt Charlene them still talking about bringing a life to fruition that they've been talking about for years, right? And that's becoming the norm. That's what's shifted our mindsets into, okay, let's do a thing. Let's go into this hoping and wishing type mindset. And if the good Lord bestows his blessings upon us before we're 100 years old, then we'll call it good. We'll say, you know what, things have worked in my favor, man. But we have to be the generation. We're going to have to be the generation that gets out of that mindset. We're going to have to be the generation that I mean, if we want to follow our religious practices, do that. But we need to be the generation that taps into all knowledge, all forms of, information, learn how to utilize it, and then show those behind us how to come out of this, man. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Brother Spiritual Alpha? Y'all understand what I'm saying? Like at what point in time is what we're doing? I mean, are we going to say, you know what, there's something else? This is what I'm saying. If we go to services, regardless of your religion, and we talk about this higher being and how powerful and all knowing and all this stuff, if we're actually standing on this source, don't you think our lives would be different? Like for the amount of people that are complaining about their lives, whether it's their relationship, their job, and all these other things, for the amount of people that are not happy about their current situation, at some point we got to say, you know what, we got to do something different. We have to do something different. I mean, we didn't paid enough tithes and offerings to build mega churches, mega masjids, and I'm not knocking that, you know. But what I'm saying is, at what point in time are our desires, at what point in time are we going to step into our power as followers, as believers in this source? That's all I'm saying, right? So to move forward, I'm talking about tapping in, right? Now, here's the thing about tapping in. Here's the thing about tapping in. It's not that most people won't learn how to tap in, right? Let me say this. It's not that most people don't know what to tap into. I'm telling you, the far majority of people, if not everybody, is fully aware of a higher sense of themselves that they can easily access, that they can easily move into, right? But you have to ask yourself, why don't people do it? You have to ask yourself, what are the barriers, that's keeping us from getting to the other side? To get to that higher sense of ourselves, right? Make sure y'all hit that like button coming in. Make sure you hit that like button. Appreciate everybody joining. But this is the thing. Most people understand it. Let me tell you what happened to me yesterday, right? So yesterday, on Sundays, here lately, pretty much every Sunday, I'm not gonna cook nothing, man. I'm gonna go to one of my two vegan restaurants. One is Vegan Vibrations, which is normally set up downtown Dallas Farmers Market, right? And then there's another one, a sister that I just found. She kind of sets up different places. She was in Denton yesterday, or I'll go there, man. Both are fire. Both are fire. So yesterday, I'm going to Tiff's in Denton, man, and I'm downtown Denton, close to the square, and I'm getting ready to make my last turn to go down the strip to where Tiff was set up at, right? And I see this brother on the side of a gas station, man, and he's putting his socks and shoes back on one foot. I see the backpack, I see the water sitting by him, I see his attire, I see the bicycle. And just me taking all this data in, I came to the conclusion. I said, okay, you know what? This man is homeless, right? And I'm gonna tell you, man, I have a soft spot for homeless people, bro. I have a soft spot for homeless people. When I live downtown Dallas, I couldn't leave my house with cash because I wouldn't have it coming back. I have a soft spot for them because I can identify with that, right? But so I made a block. I went back around the block and circled back around them and pulled up in the parking lot. And I'm like, hey, what's going on, brother? And I said, hey, man, have you eaten anything? He said, no, man, I haven't. All I got is this bottle of water. And, I said, well, hey, man, I'm getting ready to go to this spot around the corner. I said, it's vegan food. I said, bro, but you'll never even know it. It's that good, right? He said, all right, man, yeah, I'll meet you around there. It wasn't even a quarter mile, from where he was, right? And he comes down there, man, and we're sitting there chopping it up. And, we ordered the food and we had a good little spell to wait. So we're sitting up under a shade tree, right? And I'm trying to get his backstory. I'm like, yeah, well, how long you been in here? Been in Denton and all that stuff. And what are you passionate about? And he's like, hey, man. He said, man, I love playing the guitar. He said, man, sometimes I go down to this little spot down there and play the guitar, and I go to these places and play the guitar on the street and this. He said, man, but I got this problem with alcohol, man. I can't keep a guitar. He said, I'm always pawning them, right? And I'm like, all right, cool. So I said, man, it's weird you talk about, the guitar and money, like people paying you money on the street to play the guitar. I said, man, I knew this brother. Not that I knew. I said, I came across this brother back in Frisco, which is about, 30 minutes away. I said, there's this brother that I saw in Frisco in a Target parking lot. I said, man, I pulled in a parking lot and this brother had the saxophone plugged into like an amplifier. I said, and then he had, I said, those water bottles that you use and you put them upside down inside of water machines. I said, and he had one of those bottles cut in half and he had it sitting on the ground and people were throwing money in it, man. I said, man, I walked about 200 or 300 feet to throw a couple of dollars in there because it was that good. The whole parking lot was like a symphony, man. And he said, yeah. He said, I know him. He said, that's Alonzo, man. I said, and he described him. I said, yeah, that's the guy, man. He said, yeah, man, that guy would come up to Denton, right? He said, that guy would come up to Denton and play at the square and people would just gather around, man. And I could tell when I saw the brother in Target parking lot that the brother was in a bad situation. Maybe he'd been laid off from a job. I could tell that he was on his last limb. I could tell that he didn't have a job to go to. He didn't have streams of income coming in. I could tell that he was doing that out of almost desperation mixed with his passion, right? And the man said, the homeless guy I was talking to yesterday, he said, yeah, man, Alonzo will come up here and set up, and just over time, people will come and just gather around and listen, man. He would have, many crowds, right? And he said, man, the craziest thing happened, bro. He said Alonzo was playing in the park one day, like he always does, or the square, like he always does. And he said, man, there's a guy, and I don't remember the name. He named a band, a rock band, and it sounded like an older band, like maybe an older, smaller band from some years ago. He said, well, one of the guys from this band is from the small town of Denton. He said, man, so a while back, he said this band just pulled up on the city. No announcement, no flyers, no nothing. He said this band just pulled up on the square, set up, and started playing. He said, man, people were sending messages down to the college, to the barbershop saying, hey, man, the band is here playing, yada, yada, yada. And talked about the guy from the hometown. And he said, everybody just started coming. Long story short, he said, man, that band picked Alonzo up. He said, now Alonzo is a part of that band, right? And this is what the brother said, man. This is what he said. And this is when the whole conversation started changing, right? He said, man, Alonzo just didn't know he had the whole world in his hands. I said, wow, man. I said, this is the same brother. This is the same brother that told me that he would get a guitar, go down to that same square and play, right? This is the same brother that told me, man, that he would get his guitar, man, and go to some of the local bars and local, little events, man, and play and get a small crowd. Now he's putting this power outside of himself. Now he's saying, you know what? A brother that is in his almost exact situation has something that he didn't possess. And I'm saying all that to say that, man, I'm telling you, most people understand what it takes to step into that new version of us. Most people know what it takes to tap in. This brother, he called himself Jimmy. And what's weird is Jimmy wasn't his real name because he said it didn't match his birth certificate. That's a whole nother story. But Jimmy was fully aware on what Alonzo did, right? And he said Alonzo had all this power. And that's how most people operate, man. Most people understand how to tap in, and they just don't. You know what I'm saying? I know people, man, that have, home full of artwork, meaning women that can paint. I know brothers that have full studio, full, DJ equipment and are passionate about it. And DJs make money, bro, and won't move into it, man. I know people that are interested in real estate, have knowledge of it, and won't step into it. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody knows what it takes. Like if everybody sets their mind, if they say, when they see their higher self and say, you know what, this is what I'm passionate about. Everybody knows if I do X, Y, and Z, I can be amongst the elite that are doing it. But don't nobody step into it, man. I know a lot of guys that used to be hustlers. They used to be, on the streets pushing that, and they have these CEO mindsets. But for some reason, which we'll get into, for some reason, they can't make that conversion. They could easily go from being street minded and convert that to corporate America or whatever. Convert that to some legal activity, owning a dry cleaner, owning a gas station, owning a whatever tax company. I know brothers, man, with $1 million minds that won't move into it, man. So that's what I'm talking about, man. A lot of people understand how to do it, understand what needs to be done, but they still won't move into it. So let's talk about the barriers, man. Let's talk about the barriers that are keeping people from moving in it, right? I appreciate y'all coming in, man. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in, right? So the first barrier, man, the first hurdle, the first thing that most people can't get into, can't get away from, rather, is Most people are regurgitating what they've already seen, what they've always known. So it's not that they're not creating. It's not that they're not even tapping in sometimes. A lot of times they're just on repeat because they're regurgitating the same thing over and over and over and over, right? I'm gonna tell you about this, man. My best friend, a brother that I grew up with, one of the brothers, right? A brother that I literally, I'm not making this up. I literally don't remember a time not knowing this brother. I don't. I don't remember what life was like not knowing this brother. That's how long I've been knowing him. My brother Lane, man. I remember, man, I was about 18, 19, somewhere in there, right? And I was living in my hometown, Longview, Texas, 903, right? And I had a little job, man. I'm not sure if I was working at a plant then or I was delivering furniture. I had a little job, right? I had an apartment. I had a one bedroom apartment on the second floor of these apartments in Longview, Texas. It was filled with my grandmother's old furniture. You know what I'm saying? Like this old flowery 1800 looking furniture, right? Had this this old television. I had my bedroom, and my partner Lane had moved, right? He joined the military. He had been all over the world, man. Brother was in Japan. He might come in from Japan sometimes in the middle of the night. He'd be all over the country, man. Several places within the states, right? So my partner Lane just happened to be home. And he came over to the crib, man, and we were outside, man. I can remember this like it was 5 minutes ago, man. It was dark. And I could barely see his face, right? It was nighttime. We're outside in the parking lot. And he said, heal. That's what he called me, man. He said, heal. And that's how he talked. He said, man, that's how my boy talked. He said, heal. Man, you got to get out of here, bro. That's exactly how he talked, man. He said, you got to get out of here, bro. And I'm thinking, I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Like I'm winning. Like I'm sitting there, I got my own spot. I got this old 18th century, decor going on. I got a nice little chick. Like life is good. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, what are you talking about? And he was trying to explain to me. He was like, man, like there's a whole nother world out there. And he's telling me about some of his experiences. And I'll be honest, at the time I could hear what he was saying, but I couldn't really grasp it, right? He's telling me about his experiences and places he's gone. And in my mind, I'm like, bro, like, look at me. Look how I'm moving. I'm winning right now, right? But after he left, man, and I kind of just started observing my world for the next, I don't know, 7 days, 14 days. I said, man, maybe this is, not what it's all about. Maybe there is more to life, right? So long story short, man, let me say this. When I end up leaving my city, and I always talk to brothers about leaving their hometown, and there's a reason behind that. There's a reason why people elevate once they leave their hometowns, right? Because what happened is a couple of months later, I joined the military. I moved to Georgia, right outside of Savannah, right? Took a little detour, spent some time, a few days in Atlanta, kind of just. And by the time I hit my duty station, man, by the time I hit Fort Stewart, Georgia, by the time my boots hit the ground, those words that my partner was telling me, man, I fully understood what he was saying now, man. I fully understood that I had been trapped in this bubble, thinking that was the end of the world, right? And I'm saying that to say this, man. Like I know a lot of people aren't about like moving out of their hometown, but you have to understand that if you've been in the same place your whole life, you're simply regurgitating what you've learned from day one. Your life consists of nothing but what grandmama and them taught you, what pawpaw and them taught you, what mom and daddy did. The jobs in your city. They got the Coca-Cola plant, they got the brewery, they got the chemical factories. And that's your life, and you're calling that the be all. So you really can't create something new. You really can't tap into something that you have no idea even exists. You have no idea even exists. So the first thing people have to do, man, is get outside of that normal box, man. And the thing is this, everybody can't just get up and pack their bags and move out of their city. Everybody can't do that. But at least you can start entertaining different things. I mean, we got the worldwide whole web out here, man. We got Facebook, we got Discovery Channel, we got man, look at all the channels on IG to let you know, hey, what's taking place in this world. You know what I'm saying? Stop looking at all this. Stop looking at all this. Stop looking at all this garbage. I'll call it what it is. Stop looking at all this. It is garbage about men hating women, women hating men. You know what I'm saying? Get out of that circle and start tapping into something else. Look at some of these channels about traveling. Look at some of these channels about just living in different cities. Some of these channels about just visiting the freaking Grand Can't anything, man. The thing is, what I'm saying is you can't create something if you're not even in the mindset of looking outside of the normal, what you've always had, man. You know what I'm saying? How can you tap into something new if you don't even know what something new is, man? So people, man, you have to get out of and I say we because I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm holier than thou. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't sometimes fall in this small mindset of ceasing to expand. Sometimes I'll let the world get the best of me, man, and I'll find myself plateauing in life, and it's like, you know what? I'm getting in this bubble because life is all about expanding. It's all about expanding. So let's say a person does, let's say a brother or sister does figure out how to tap in. Let's say they do figure out how to, think outside of the norm, think outside of the box, think outside of what, Pastor and Deacon Sozo, think outside of what Grandmama and them taught them. Let's say they can think outside of that. Let's say they do move outside of their city. Visionary Libra said, just move to another state. This is powerful. I'm telling you, people have no idea how powerful it is. And I'll tell you why it's so powerful. I'll tell you why. Because this is why. And I noticed this when I first moved to Dallas, especially when I moved from downtown to up here where I'm at now. I didn't know anybody. And I love that. I love that feeling of moving to a new place and not knowing anybody, because instantly it releases all the chains that I've always known. It releases all those chains. Because see, some people can't look at you and say, oh, well, you done these bad things. You're this type of person. You only make this type of money. You can and can't do this. And that's what happens when people stay in their home their home city. You've created this being, and now it's hard to step outside of that and be something else, because as soon as you do, somebody's saying, no, that's not you. Like, you're acting funny. Like why is he acting brand new? Why is he or she doing something different? That's not them. When really you're just trying to elevate. So what you do? You say there's, oh, you know what? You right. Like I've never owned my own business. Well, what am I thinking about? I've never made six figures. I've never weighed less than X amount of pounds. I've never gained muscle. Like put me back in my place. Thank you. Can I have another type situation? You know what I'm saying? Will said, new city can find new friends, new life. Amen. Right? So that's why living in an old box. But this is the thing. Go back to what I was saying. Let's say a person does understand how to tap in. Let's say they move to a new city or whatever. They understand that, hey, you know what? I've identified my higher self, and I want to step into it. What's the deal with these people? Why can't they move forward, right? See, we talk about all the time. We talk about, and there are several philosophers that say this. We talk about acting as if, right? We talk about acting as if. See, what a lot of people do, they can identify that self. They know exactly what it takes. They can't fully step into that new being. In other words, when they're at home reading their books and on the phone with their one or two friends or amongst a few like-minded associates, they have absolutely no problem stepping into this new version of themselves, right? But think about this. Let's say, for example, you've moved to a new city. Let's say, for example, you studied and you know what it takes to bring a new world into your life, right? let's say you're stuck working in an unfavorable cubicle every day. You're hating life, right? You have a boss that's just a hard ass on you, man. It's just like, man, life is miserable. So you find this new version of yourself. You go into your manifestation and you say, you go into your mindset, your thoughts. You say, you know what? I'm going to be a business owner at some point, right? I want to be a business owner. I want to be a six-figure earner, which this whole imaginary six-figure line of happiness that everybody has created. I'm telling you, is not true. I don't know why this six-figure mark became the 50,000 as far as happiness is no different from 150 or 250. I'm telling you, right? But let's say you set that goal and say, you know what? I know exactly what it takes to become that. And you step into that. You become that. You become that person. You start moving in that energy, right? Because that's what you have to do, right? That's praying without ceasing, right? But then you wake up on Monday mornings and you go to your job, and for some reason, you want to get in that old energy. You're this prideful, strong, confident, believing, standing on faith type person. But you look down the cubicle and you see your boss coming down the hallway, and instantly you fall back into this cowering, fearful, I hope my employer doesn't fire me type energy, right? And that's a real energy because I swam in that energy for years without even knowing it, right? You know what I'm saying? So your boss comes and he's talking to you, and you're this cowering spiritually person, right? I'm gonna tell you this. That's a lot of the reasons why a lot of people can't tap in. Because this is why. The universe doesn't know what to do with you, man. The universe has no clue what you want. God, whatever you want to call that, the source, right? Has no clue what you want to do. Because for 5 minutes or for the weekend, you're this person. But come Monday through Friday, or come Sunday morning or Saturday when you're at your family house, you're somebody else, man. So the universe is like, I can't give you nothing because I'm confused. And you're sitting there talking about, man, my life won't come to be. It's like your life is coming to you. The state of confusion is coming your way because that's what you're asking, man. I'm gonna tell you this. There are a lot of people that understand how to live in their energy, their positive energy, but they'll get around their friends, they'll get around their family, and they'll instantly get snatched out of that. Because again, when you step into that energy, you have to expect some people saying, bro, you acting funny. Sister, you acting funny. Like you've been going to the club twerking for 32 months consecutively. And all of a sudden, you wanna dress a little different? You want to walk like you got some class, sister? Or you're like, bro, you've been in a trap spot with me, for 400 months, man. We've been grinding, we didn't got the bag. But now you wanna go home and watch a documentary? You at the library? What you mean you going to a conference about how to start your own business, man? Man, he acting funny. That's a real thing. Stay focused. I appreciate the super chat. Keep bringing that wisdom, brother. That's a real thing. And I'm telling you, that's what's bringing most people back. And sometimes it's not even on a conscious level. Sometimes it's that old environment. It has a chain on you and you don't even know it, man. A lot of times, I'm gonna tell you this, bro. I'm gonna tell you this. And I was telling the guys this last night on in the power circle. If y'all wasn't a part of that power circle last night, man, y'all missed out. I'll be posting some stuff about that this week, man. Y'all want to join that power circle every week. It's powerful. Brothers coming together. But I was telling brothers this on the power circle last night, man. I said, you know what, man? Like, I've been making videos for a number of years, for a couple of years now. I got the old channel, I got the new channel. And I'm gonna tell you this. My mother is my biggest fan, man. And my mother said, I'll send her videos every once in a while. If I'm talking about, Neville Goddard or something, or, I'll send her one. She'll be like, I like this video. And she acts like she can't, smart as my mom is, man, borderline genius. For some reason, she has all apps mastered. But when it comes to YouTube, she be like, I don't know how to subscribe. And I can only see one video and I can, she goes there, man. So I'll send her some every once in a while. And then a while back, man, me and her was sitting there talking, man. I think it was Mother's Day. We sitting there, we riding. I'm taking her out to eat, man, spoiling the T. Jones. And we're going out to eat. And she started talking about the YouTube. She was like, yeah. She said, you don't send me every video, do you? And I said, no. Then she was like, yeah, there's some videos where you be talking about different stuff. Of course, I'm not going to send my mama videos where I'm talking about, what I'm saying? Fat asses and Houston booties and some of the stuff I talk about. I mean, some of that stuff it's PG, but it ain't nothing I'm finna send my T. Jones. I ain't finna send my mama that just like, hey, mom, check this one out I was talking about. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, there's some stuff you don't send me, right? And I said, yeah, I send you some, but there's some I don't send you. And then she said a few words, and I could just tell that she had seen some of my content that I hadn't seen, right? And then she said, you know what? She said, sometimes it might come out a little rough. Sometimes it might come out for a little, whatever. She said, but just always tell it like it is. Right. And me and my mama never had that kind of conversation right like that, man. And I'm going to tell you this. It had an effect on me that I didn't know. There was something lifted from me that I didn't even know existed, man. Some kind of I don't know, some kind of barrier. Like maybe I was suppressing a part of myself, due to somebody else on the planet. And I'm like, man, and it something came out of me, right? And I could tell because even the next couple of videos I made, a couple of brothers would comment saying, oh man, like there's something different about you, soul. And I was like, dang it, like it is. I can feel it. And the thing is this. Life shouldn't be like that, man. We shouldn't be suppressing ourselves based on other people, even though that was my mom. But we do the same thing for best friends. We do the same things for employers. We do the same thing for people at our church. We'll have a higher level of understanding. We'll know how to move. We'll know how to think. We'll know how to talk and do certain things. But we get around certain people, or we know that certain people are privy to being exposed to what we're talking about or saying or being or doing, and we'll suppress that truest part of ourselves. We'll suppress that alter ego that's trying to show us how to move, how to reach our highest potential. So that's the reason why a lot of people don't tap in right there, man. It's because they suppress a part of themselves to keep the rest of the world happy. For the Don Popo, appreciate that super chat, brother. It says, thank you for deep diving into this topic as promised. Salute to you, man. I sure appreciate it, homie. The leading right says, why do you speak of the Most High in the third person? Are we not the Most High? Is there a difference? Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that super chat. Of course, I mean, we are a part of the Most High. We are a part of the Most High. It's like this, and I used this example a long time ago. Good question, bro. Are we not a part of the Most High? It's like this. And I used this example probably 3 years ago. I said, if I take a cup, right? And I go out to the Atlantic Ocean and I take a dip of it. And I come all the way back to Dallas, Texas, and put that in a microscope, right? And I look at the properties of this water, man. I'm like, oh man, this water is made up of these minerals and all this stuff. Is not that small cup of water the exact same thing as the Atlantic Ocean? You know what I'm saying? It's the exact same thing, but it comes from it. So yes, I am made in the image, in the likeness of the source from which I came. But at the same time, I have reverence from it because I understand that it is the source. I walk and talk and conduct myself as if, but I still understand that the source is above me. You know what I'm saying? It's like my son, right? I created my son. My son is young right now. He's 14 years old, right? So he's conducting himself as a child. But about 7 more years, man, about 14 more years, he's going to look up and say, you know what? I have the exact same properties as my dad. He gonna say, I'm the exact same thing. He said, you know what? I can do the exact same thing as the man that created me. But at the same time, he's gonna always give me reverence. But he's gonna say, you know what? You're the source from which I came. And I'm talking about on a spirit, on a physical level. So yeah. So I agree with you saying, brother. Yeah. Do we not? Why do I speak of the third person? Because as much as I am from the source, as much as I am the exact same properties, I still give reference to the source of all things. You know, I still recognize that I came from something, from the all. You know, but good point, bro. Good point on that. But back to what I was saying, man, that's a lot of reason why people can't step into that, man. You have no idea how much influence just being around the same people in the same environment for years puts a chain around you, man. You have no idea, like the sister said earlier, or the brother. You know, I moved into a new city, and it's like a new world. I'm free to tap into whatever I want to tap in, right? So man, that's the second one. And this last one I want to cover, man, because I don't want to take this too long. Like the number one reason in my book, man, the number one reason why people can't make that final, that final push, that final, leap to fully tap in, is because, well, let me say this first, man. Let me say this first. Because I made a video. I made a video a while back, man. I don't know when this was. We was talking about death. And I was saying, pretty much in a nutshell, I was saying, if a person hasn't embraced death, then they really don't understand, or they really can't appreciate life. I'm telling you, man, once I embrace, in other words, once I stepped into that energy of that, hey, you know what? I understand now that I can never die. Like, I understand now what eternal life is. I understand what living forever is. Once you tap into that, and then you can look at death as simply a graduation, like simply embracing death. I'm telling you, but embracing death is a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing, bro. It's so much freedom. There's so much freedom associated with it, man. There's so much, So I think that first, man, a person has to understand and appreciate death to understand life, right? And the reason I say that is because the reason why most people can't tap into that new self, man, is because they can't kill the old self. You know what I'm saying? But both worlds can't reside at the same time, right? So even if you know how to create the life of your dreams, even if you know how to step into this person, how to pray and never come out of it, even if you know that, you're going to run into a hurdle if you don't know how to kill your old self, man. And that's huge. For y'all that have watched The Path, that the second part of The Path, that was the meat of part two. Like that's the line that you have to cross to keep. I mean, that's the hugest hurdle, man. That's the largest hurdle. If you can't kill that old self, brother, you are in a bind. You are stuck. And when I say kill the old self, this is what I mean. A lot of us, I'm not gonna say y'all because it's us, because all this pertains to me too. Again, I'm not holier than thou. A lot of us will see that finish line, we'll see that new energy, we'll see that new vibe, that world will start forming around us. We'll start getting new jobs. We'll start seeing these 5% women, these 5% men. We'll start getting, finding ourselves, amongst people with free-spirited minds. We'll see that and we'll step into it. But then what happens is that old world gets to calling your name. So where you at? And that's them old partners calling you. That's them old thoughts that used to be in your old phone. Those women you used to mess with back in the day that you know that they're low vibrational. You know what I'm saying? Those brothers Those brothers that want to sit around and talk about nonsense instead of talking about brothers. How can we make our community better? How can we help young men? How can we make our pockets fatter? You know what I'm saying? It like, you know, because it's like if you a grown man and you ain't talking about that, what are you talking about, right? What are you talking about? Like, I don't even know how to talk about anything else. So the thing is, you will get in those circles, man. You'll start hanging around people that you like, you know what, man, I never thought that I would be in the room with this brother or this sister. Like, I'm in the room with this sister. I'm on a chat with this sister. I'm in the same event with this brother that, you know, you're in that energy, but as soon as you leave, that old world calls you back, man. And a lot of people can't kill that old side of themselves. And that's why I say that it's important. That's why I say it's important that you appreciate death and life first. Because if you don't understand how life and death and the beauty of death, if you don't understand that, then when it comes to the below, when it comes to the way we operate on this world, it won't make sense to you. It won't make sense to you either, right? Because when you think about killing that old self, like those that are aware, you understand that every time you kill that old self, you know, in other words, every time that snake sheds that old skin, you understand the beauty of it. You understand the beauty of it and the coming into the new of it. But if you don't understand the process of death, then you're going to always be holding on to that old life, man, because you don't understand the beauty of death and rebirth. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the largest hurdles, man. People can't come outside of that they can't kill that old self. And what does that look like? Hell, that may take deleting every single person on your IG, even your next door neighbors, even the brothers and sisters you grew up with. You know what I'm saying? That may take some people coming to your door, ringing your doorbell, and you don't even answer the door no more. It may take you quitting football leagues and summer leagues, and it may take you stop going to certain churches. You know what I'm saying? It may take you leaving somebody. It may take you having to divorce somebody. I'm telling you. And I always say, everybody's not built for this, man. I say everybody's not built for this, man. There are some people, man, I'm gonna tell you this, bro. There are some people in relationships. There are some people in relationships, and I'm not even talking about marriage. I'm talking about just committed. We're getting to know each other. Let's see if we can work toward marriage. There are some people in committed relationships that are fully aware, that are without a doubt aware that the person that they're with are keeping them from reaching their higher selves, are keeping them from tapping in. Man, you know how many people know this? Do you know how many relationships I've been in where I say, you know what, brother? I love this sister, man. This sister fine. She's sexy. We have fun. She's beautiful. She's kind. She checks all these boxes. But I'll say, you know what? To reach my highest potential, I know that me going into that new world and me being with her, I know I can't do both. There are people that know this and say, you know what? Since this seems so far-fetched, then I'll just sit here where I'm comfortable, man. I'll just stay right here, man. And a lot of people spend their whole lives swimming in this negative, toxic, low vibrational energy when they could have stepped into their life and stepped into their true selves, right? It goes back to the brother I was talking about earlier. KJ the Great. How can I get a consultation? Appreciate that super chat, brother. If you go on the website, www.immortalminds.com, which is in the process of making some changes, but the website, the old website is still live. And you go to consultations, brother, and you can book it through there. You'll send you to a calendar and lock it in. Appreciate that super chat though, brother. I look forward to talking to you, man. I look forward to talking to you. But like a lot of people will be in those situations and say, you know what? Like I know that I can be higher, and they'll just choose to swim in that. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why they do that, man. I'll tell you why they do that. Because it's the unknown. And I'm gonna tell you this, man. A brother said this last night in the power circle, man. And when he said it, brother, it hit a spot with me. It hit a spot with me. And it goes back to this old song I heard. And I talk about this once or twice. There's this old song I heard. It was Puffy. I don't know whose song it was. It was Puffy kind of talking, kind of talking the hook. You know how he does. Rick Ross, French Montana. And between them brothers rapping, Puffy came in and said, like, in other words, and I'm paraphrasing, like, you can't move like those with higher mindsets. And he said, because he says, you're scared of the darkness. And I'm telling you, 5 years, 10 years ago, whenever I heard that song for the first time, I kind of felt them, but I was like, what is he really talking about? He said, you're scared of that darkness. And what this brother said last night, man, brother said, you know what? A lot of people can go into that silence and go into that spot because you got to go there to transition. You have to separate yourself from all things to transition. And he said, the thing is, that spot, like the brother said this last night, and the same thing Puffy was saying, that spot is lonely, man. I'm telling you, I'm 100% introverted, and I'm still telling you that spot was lonely. I'm talking about to the point where, like, over this last couple of years, when everybody's been at home and they're like, oh, I'm tired of being stuck in the house. Brother, I've been cheering for this. When I was still working and everybody was stuck at home, but I was loving it. Then don't leave the house for 30 days. I'm loving it. Ordering my groceries online. I'm loving it. And I'm sitting here telling you that when you separate yourself from all the world and everybody else's thoughts, and you just soaking and sitting in your own energy, along with this God stuff, along with this thinking stuff that Wallace Wattles talk about, brother, that is a dark and lonely place. That is a dark and lonely place. And that's what Puffy was saying. Puffy said, everybody can't go there, man. And he was asking him, he said, y'all can't go there, man. And I'm telling you, when people get to that spot, that lonely, like it's just me, they instantly run back to what was common, man. Having no idea they were this close, man, to stepping into that new version of themselves, man. They had no idea. No idea, man. When I was sitting at home, man, when I was getting ready to take my life, when I separated myself from the whole world, I had no idea, brother. I was on the brink. I was on the edge, man. Because I went from not even wanting to live to, in a few moments, I felt like a god, man. That quick. But you have to go through that period. You have to go through it, man. And I'm telling you, it's almost like that's the universe giving you that final check, right? Appreciate it, brother. God Effect. I appreciate that super chat, man. Says my fellow Cancerian brother, Team Cancer. I know the season is about over. It's already over, so I had to rip, man. Finally watched the path yesterday. Took me back to when I got on my path and gave thanks for it. And thank you for your work. Gonna watch a playback of this live. Man, appreciate it. Appreciate the support, man. Getting that, man. Appreciate that super chat, brother. But it's like, man, that darkness. I'm telling you, when you get to that dark spot, and this is what I'm saying. When you get to that spot, man, where it's like you're sitting at home on the weekends, and all the ladies that used to text you, all the ladies that used to be in your DMs, and all the ladies that you used to mess around with, or sisters, all the brothers that used to hit you up and want to pull up in the middle of the night. I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen. When you start elevating, when you start slowly stepping to that new you, I'm telling you, that world will fall off and it won't even make sense. It won't make sense to nobody. You'll be like, you know what? Last month, my DMs were flooded. My texts were flooded. But all of a sudden, man, this weekend, ain't nobody hitting me up. My partners that used to want to go out and drink all the time, like they're not hitting me up, want to hang no more. Like the sisters used to want to go out and sip mimosas and brunches and patio parties and all that stuff. And now them sisters not hitting me up. I'm telling you, energy is heavy. Without saying a word, people that you used to entertain, things you used to entertain will fall away. Without you saying one single word. But this is the thing. When you find yourself sitting at home on those weekends or that weekend or that month where nobody's hitting you and it's just you. It's just you, four walls, your thoughts, and that thinking stuff. I'm telling you, that is a dark, lonely, stagnant feeling place. But I'm telling you that's like the final, that's like the universe saying, okay, you step to, I see you. Like you're praying without ceasing. I see your thoughts are becoming more pure. But let me separate you from everything. It kind of goes back to Job. Ain't that what Job told the Most High in the book of Job? The devil said, yeah, you got this thing over Job, but let's separate here from all things. Let's put Job on a hospital bed with nothing but himself and this thinking stuff, and let's see what he does. I'm letting you know, brothers, that's where you are when that's taking place, man. When you're in that lonely place, and maybe you're contemplating living or not. Maybe you're contemplating going out doing something crazy. You know what I mean? You have to understand that, hey, I'm in that spot. You have to understand that as bad as it is, man, you have to understand is I'm right there on the edge. Like I'm on the edge waiting. I'm on the edge waiting. And that's when you understand that, hey, it's not about creating. This is when you'll understand it's not about creating. It's simply about me tapping in. Why is this though? Because when you remove everything from around you, you really understand how close everything that you want already is. You know what I'm saying? And see, this is one of the blocks. This is one of the blocks, man. Like I talked about yesterday, or maybe on the video earlier. Whenever I talked about this, see, one thing that confuses people as far as like the way life works and all this stuff is it's not about. See, the thing is, we look at life as chronological, right? We look at life like this. In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. And today is July the 26th and yada, yada. This is my state of mind. We look at life as this. The prophets lived 2,000 years ago. This is how we look at life. Life is not like this. Life is not chronological like the school has taught us it is. Instead of life being like this, life is like this. You see that? It's like looking through one of those paper towel holders. When all the paper towels are going, you get that little funnel. That's what life is like. It's not chronological. It's what is that, linear? What do you call that? It's like that. What do you mean? So what do you mean it's not chronological? What do you mean? 2,000 years ago, did it? What don't you mean? In the beginning, God created? No. In other words, what I'm saying is this: there is no such thing as the past. There is no such thing as the future. Like when people say there is only now, brother, there is only now. There's only now. What does that mean? That means that your great grandfather, your great grandmother, that means that the day that they were born and the day that they die is right now. The day that you were born, the day that you die is right now. We're simply tapping in or making a choice to be present right now and to be alive. How do you think the ancestors communicate with us so well? If the ancestors lived all this time ago or died a few years ago, right? If the ancestors are somewhere else or lived a different time, how can our ancestors talk to us and communicate to us? It's because everything is right now. So when I talk about tapping in, if everything is right now, life and death, if everything is right now, then it means that all that exists is right now. If we say that the source of all things is if we say that God is the source of all things, and there is nothing that exists inside or without God, it can't exist. That means that everything that we can even think of, every version of ourselves has to already exist. Shout out to Soul's Reflection. Appreciate that super chat. Y'all don't know, Soul's Reflection is the one that painted this picture right behind me. And I got a project coming up real soon. We collabed and did some stuff with that, man. Some new stuff coming out. But yeah, shout out to Soul Reflection. Thank you for that super chat, Queen. So when I talk about tapping in, if everything has always existed, if I can't think of any possible version of myself, if I can't think of any version of myself that hasn't already existed, outside of what's in the all, that means the all is not what it is. So to believe that the all is the all, that says that everything already exists, right? So that's why I say tap in. It's not about creating. It's not about bringing something to fruition that's not already around you. That thinking stuff, that version of you that you want, it already exists, right? So you literally have to tap in. Think about this, man. And it goes back to when I talked about acting as if. What does the definition of faith say? It says faith is the what hope of thing. Faith is the hold up, man. Let me Google this, man. I'll paraphrase the hell out of something. You know what I mean? I know a million quotes, and I can't quote them, neither one of them. Hold up. Give me one sec. It says, here it says now, it says this. It says this. Hebrews 11:1. It says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Now, have we not been hearing that in our church for the last 100 years? Brother Ronnie Davis, I appreciate that super chat. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. Have we not been reading that in our churches or in our homes for the last million years? Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for. This next part is the meat. The evidence of things not seen, right? So tell me this. If everybody grandmama and read that to them like my grandmama did, if we heard that in the church, and my daddy was a preacher, so I heard that my whole life, the evidence of things not seen, and that's faith. Are we really saying we don't have faith? That's really what we're saying. In other words, we've been going to church our whole lives, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, going through the practices, going through the rituals, and we don't even have faith. We can't have faith if we aren't moving based on the evidence of things not seen. So when you sit there and say, you know what, next year, man, I'm opening my tax business. Next year, I'm opening up a barbershop. I'm opening up a salon. Next year, I'm moving from Texas to Arizona. Next year, I'm moving from Florida to Michigan. If we aren't moving in that energy, man, we simply don't believe. If when your partners, if when your mama, if when your grandmama and them ask you what you got planned for the future, and you know you got the blueprint for starting your own business, but you want to dumb yourself down to, oh, mama, the plant gave me a 5-cent freaking raise, but you don't want to live in your God energy, man. You don't have faith. And I'm telling you, you are confusing the universe when you do that. That's why it says to pray without ceasing. Go into that freaking state and never come out of it. Screw what everybody says. Hell yeah, they're going to say you acting funny, because you are acting funny. It's funny to the people who don't understand your new vibration. You can't come out of it, man. You can't come out of it. And I'm saying we, because that's a struggle everybody has. I'm telling you this. If you know how you're supposed to move, and you're pity-patting, tiptoeing, 1 foot out, 1 foot in type scenario, don't sit there and say, man, I don't know why my world is not coming to me. Yeah, the Bible says this. Yeah, I know the manifestation process says this, but it ain't coming to see me. If you're not stepping into that thing and not coming out, man, I'm telling you, don't even look for it, man. It can't happen, because the universe is giving you exactly what you're asking for. That's the thing. That's the thing, man. There is no such thing as an unanswered prayer. My belief is, now my thing is this. My thing is this, and this is just me. When it's your time to die, it's your time to die. And I'm still in a gray area on that because it's like, okay, when someone takes their own life, was that their time or did they take life into their own hand? Is there a difference? If we are creators and that's what we created, and that's what, it gets kind of confusing. But my thing is, we can't live forever. You know what I'm saying? We can't live to, in this physical realm. We can't live forever here. So at some point in time, we got to clock out. And the thing is, us as humans, this is how we look at it. If a person lives to be 100 years old, we say, oh man, they lived a good full life. If a person dies at 24 years old, we'll say, oh man, they died real young. Like, that's sad. But think about it. We're talking about the difference between 60 and 70 years, right? Which is like, dang, that's a long time. They could have lived. Think about the grand scheme of things, though. Think about eternity. 100 years and a 3-year-old is really no difference. So if a person comes to this world and passes away at 5, it's no different than they pass away at 105 in the grand scheme of things, right? You know what I'm saying? We have to understand this, man. We have to understand this. Because I don't want to go long, man. I gotta go to my son's school and get some stuff set up today. We have to understand this, man. Again, going back to what I said from the very get-go. We have to come to the conclusion at some point that, hey, you know what? We've been going to church our whole lives, and that's a good thing. We've been going to Juma, we've been going to Mass, we've been going to all these services, man. And we have people that are living to be X amount of years old that are still hoping, wishing, and praying for a life that most of the time they end up passing away and it never comes. And again, we have to be the generation of people to say, you know what? It's time for us to tap in, man. Like I'm tired of going to church every freaking Sunday and being miserable from Monday through Saturday. Like, at some point, we got to say, this can't be life, man. We're going to have to be the generation of people that tap in and change all the generations behind us. We're going to have to make it normal for everyone to live the exact life that they want. And I'm telling you, a lot of it is going to come down to, one, separating yourself from your past. Two, fully step into that new version of yourself. And three, never coming out of it and killing that old self. It's going to take that, man. If nobody's telling you that you acting funny, if some of your old friends ain't gossiping saying, oh man, brother Johnny B, man, he tripping, he acting funny. He ain't blazing with us no more. He ain't on that crown no more, man. He ain't on the trap spot no more. Like, what? Like, man, brother acting funny. If ain't nobody seeing you act, if ain't nobody making some kind of comment, even if it's a good comment, like, brother, I see you moving different. You got to check yourself, man. You got to check yourself. Brother Manifesting Leader said that is a beautiful painting. Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. She drew that by hand, and yeah, like I said, I'll have some stuff coming up on that. Very, very good. Let's say you a Cancer? Team Cancer, brother. Team Cancer. How can I join this power circle? Join the power circle, man. So in August, it'll start being available. You can come in 1 week at a time for a very small amount, or you can subscribe to Patreon, and for $5 a month, you have access to every power circle every week. And I'm telling you, man, yesterday's man, we went long because it was that powerful, man, brothers, man, it was crazy. That's an iron sharpening iron type situation. And I'm telling you, a lot of people don't understand how much is needed until we have it. When you sit amongst brothers and y'all are talking about pros and cons about life situations and we're learning from each other, it's a powerful thing, man. So yeah, join the Patreon. It's in the link, man. Get to the $5 level, and man, you have access to that. All the replays, all the other videos on Patreon. So yeah, that's how you do that, man. Says substance is a thing hope for. But it's simple as that, man. I'm not going to drag this on. It's as simple as that, man. And starting going back to the front, like brother Wallace Waddles. He talked about this, man. Like I said, Waddle was like, man, like And what I said, it was hard for people to understand back then. Think about when he's talking about some kind of energy around us, when there's no such thing as Wi-Fi. There's no such thing as cell phone towers and frequencies. There's no such thing as radio stations. This stuff wasn't even heard of. And he's talking about there's an energy around us. Like there's an energy around us. See, a lot of y'all haven't really grasped the concept. A lot of y'all haven't just really sit down and said, you know what? I can pick this phone up and I can FaceTime somebody clean across the country. And I can have a real-time conversation with them looking at their face. You know what? You can say, you know what? I can tap into a radio station right now and change that station. Think about that. Think about this. The radio station, whatever your city is, 99.7, whatever, you have to understand that all that stuff, all those frequencies are right here around us. They're all in this room right now. Right now, 99.7 is loud, is blasting in this room. I choose not to tap into it. If I wanted to tap into it, it'd just be a matter of me getting a device and tapping into it. That's not crazy to y'all. That's not sci-fi to y'all. The fact that Wi-Fi is all around me right now. And all I got to do is pick my phone up, right? Hit a little button, and I'm tapped into this source that's right around me. That's how we have to look at our creator. That's what Wallace Wattles was talking about. He said, there's this thinking stuff, guys, and it's all around us. And it's the stuff that we use to create. So that's what I'm saying. The six-figure earner of you is right there by your face. It's right there up under your nose. It's right there in your ears. It's nowhere to bring it. You don't have to bring it forth. All you have to do is dial in, man. All you have to do is dial in. And that's simply a matter of stepping into it and killing the old self. That's just a matter of stepping into it and quote unquote, cutting the old radio station off, cutting the old television show off and watching the new one. It's that simple, man. It's that simple. Sister Amber said, tap in. It's that simple. Somebody said something about that. I ain't even talk about that 19. YouTube will mess around and shut my whole channel down. It's that simple, guys. And I'm not gonna run it long. And we'll go into deeper into this, man. You know, I don't want to, run this long chat, but it's simply as tapping in. You know what I'm saying? So do this. If nothing else, y'all do this for me. Two things I need from y'all. One, I need everybody in here right now to give me one like. If I said anything to alter your life in 1 degree, give me a like. If I said anything to set you back, give me a down like. Right? So that's the one thing I want from y'all. The second thing and the last thing I want from y'all to do, man, is that for at least 5 minutes, some point today, man, for 5 minutes, just cut every single thing off, right? If you can, sit in a room by yourself, lay in the bed by yourself, and think about this. Just say to yourself this, say everything that I know, everything that I am, all my beliefs, all my rituals, the way that I put my jeans on, the way that I spank my kids, the food that I eat, everything. Just come to the conclusion that everything was given to you by somebody else, right? And then say, you know what? Who in the hell am I? What is it that I want? And think about that. Where do I want to live? What type man or woman do I want in my life? What kind of experiences do I want to live? Do I want to experience? Do I want to see Africa? Like, do I? Do I want to see Jamaica? I mean, do I want to go to California? Do I want to live in California? Find out who you are and what your life and what you like, right? And then create that. And when I say create it, and I'm trying to get away from that word, go into your thoughts and live that experience. Get online, man. See what Cali is like. See what Florida is like. And put that in your thoughts. And then when you get these downloads, because once you go into that silence, the universe is going to show you. It's going to practically slap you in the face with it on how to move. When it shows you how to move, remember what we talked about today, man. Remember that you got to step into it and remember that you have to kill that old self. And I'm telling you, once you understand that, once you stand on that, once this becomes your religion, once this becomes your way of life, brother, you will realize that you are just now. Sisters, you will realize that you are just now starting to live. You realize that you are just now starting to live. So I'm just going to leave y'all with that, man. I thank everybody for joining. I thank everybody for being here. I thank for all the super chats. I thank for all the likes. I thanks for all the love. It's your boy Soul Immortal, and I'm out.